And welcome back to another GACC podcast where we are going to be discussing games, anime, computers, and collectibles, but not necessarily all that in one week. I'm still your host, Harrison, and to my right,
James,
and to my left,
Faust.
And my, oh my, I think I screwed this all up last week, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I know.
Yeah, and you had to go and get stomach problems.
Yeah.
Mr.
And keep on eating expired peanut butter, but
Wait,
it's so good.
I wasn't even here last time either. I wouldn't have been here either.
You wouldn't have been here.
Yeah.
I can't talk smack.
I don't know. I mean, it was an excuse to take. Every now and then you got to just take some time and relax.
Like, I'll probably be going to Santa Fe next week.
Cool.
You're doing a lot of relaxing lately.
No, I just got to talk to my friend in Santa Fe.
Just pretty chill guy.
Just doing a lot of relaxing.
So, I mean,
That's boss, man.
Progress ever marches forward.
Oh, yes. And there's a lot of progress, I guess. But I think the big thing is the Toys R Us liquidation sales have started.
Are you sure? I thought the big thing was your data is being mined out on Facebook. Since like 2008.
No.
That's
okay.
Yeah, not really. I mean,
you're not shocked?
Toys R Us is not shocked at all.
Toys R Us has been around for a long time.
Yeah.
No.
I am more shocked about Toys R Us closing down than I am Facebook exploiting people for their information. And I mean, you could have seen Toys R Us closing down since the recessions, really, and that was like 14 years ago or something.
Well, yeah.
I mean, a lot of companies just couldn't recover from the losses that nobody having any money to buy luxuries with.
But to be honest, realistically, they kind of did it to themselves too, because all this time they just did toys and that was it. Mm-hmm. And it's like they started moving towards other things, but they could have done a lot more. Because, I mean, when was the last time you went to Toys R Us, to be honest?
Well, here's the thing is KB Toys shut down in 2009 with the second recession.
I remember that one.
Okay. And now we have Toys R Us closing down almost 10 years later. So there was a first recession in 2004, and Toys R Us couldn't get their act together since KB Toys went out of business. So it's really weird, because
they tried to maintain this ideal of big box, huge toy stores, and they that whole like young kid sort of feeling about bringing a youngster into a Toys R Us was sort of like you walk through that airlock that they all have.
Mm-hmm. And make you feel like a kid
and
again.
Then, it's just, it's like ceiling so high you can barely see them. If you, think a kid, 3 foot tall
and you're
or
like,
less.
Yeah, toys.
And there's toys stacked up all the way into the sky and the games and all of that other stuff. The unfortunate part about it is, as much as the theme song, was sort of like a magical mantra for us, all of us Toys R Us kids grew up. And Toys R Us kind of didn't follow us with any. I mean, they tried to keep some video games around. They tried to have some electronic stuff, but really, I mean, they needed to keep that whole toy premise and not lose that market to like Sharper Image and those other places that sell a lot of like cheap electronic crap that are just kind of like, look, toys.
No, instead they lost every online thing possible.
Well, the thing is with this closing down, I mean, the interesting thing is, like I said, we're already starting to see ripples with this in the market. I've talked about this before with some people. So Mattel stock has dropped, Hasbro's stock has dropped, and I think we're going to see more after this holiday season. And then this holiday season is going to be interesting too, because with Toys R Us having 20% of the sales in the market, where are those sales going to get picked up from? What retailer is going to win that out this toy season?
Online's probably
Amazon. Well, Amazon's talked about potentially buying some of the old KB Toy Store locations because they're so big.
Yeah. Even big, like keeping it in perspective, the biggest toy store I ever walked into was an FAO Schwartz, and that was 3 stories of toys. Like as a retail space goes or something like that. And it looked like a toy store from a movie where they go into a lavish toy store, near a Home Alone movie or something like that. Just huge stuffed animals everywhere, every kind of toy you could feasibly think of, some stuff you've never even heard of. I mean, it was just an amazing experience to walk into that. But I've seen 2 FAO Schwartz in my lifetime, and one was in Las Vegas. So I mean, these were really big holiday location kind of places. in my mind, Toys R Us was kind of the tier down from there. It was the big box warehouse toy store that you went to pick up all of the big stuff, you know, your Power Wheels and all the kid stuff. And they had stuff ranging all ages all the way up until like high school age and a little beyond. And then the KB was kind of a step down from there because they were sort of an expanded toy aisle in like a Kmart or a Walmart or something like that. Like KB was basically 3 toy aisles worth of toys, whereas Toys R Us was kind of like 10 toy aisles or more, 20, 25 toy aisles.
Well, you know that Toys R Us got rid of FAO Schwartz a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
They owned it.
That was a mistake.
But they liquidated it a couple of years ago, and I guess it's been
been
relaunched on Fifth Avenue in 2017.
Yeah, they are kind of a high-end
yeah.
kind of place.
But what's interesting about this whole Toys R Us close down thing, one of the recent things that came out from it is they blamed millennials for it closing down.
Of course.
That's just the...
You know why?
That's just the fad these days. Yeah.
You know what? Let's blame something.
It's because we are not manufacturing enough babies.
Not our piss poor decision to continue with everyone else. No, it's the millennials' fault.
Well, hold on. There is a slight hint of truth in what the sensational headline says.
Oh, go on.
Because think about it, the millennials, the ones born between like 81 and 96. Okay, we've lived through 2 recessions. We've lived through the 2004 recession. We lived through the big recession for 2008, 2009. And with this, you know, one of the things that they're talking about is millennials are not having kids at the same rate that the previous generations have had kids. And this is true. Mm-hmm. You know, the millennials now, I mean, look at us. How out of the millennials we know that are our age, and we're gray-bearded millennials, how many can you say actually own a home? You know, percentage-wise. How many can you say are actually married, percentage-wise? And then how many can you say actually have kids, percentage-wise? You know,
and here's a bigger question: why don't they have those things?
Because they cost money, and we got to spend our money on all the other things.
Yeah, the thing about it is, like, previous generations had these big population boons and these amount of luxuries because they were never told to give it. They were never given a chance to. They were told they had to choose one or the other. They just kind of had all of that available to them, and now that they've had all of that available, and it's become a way to say, look, you can either have kids or a house or a college education. You know, you don't just have all of them available to you.
Yeah, and then I mean, this last recession really did hurt. I mean, it hurt the housing market because you couldn't buy houses, and
there's something like 18.6 million unoccupied homes, and there are 3 point something million homeless people. Like
that doesn't mean they just get a home. Come on.
Yeah, you're right.
So if somebody wants to make money off of those houses, that's, you know.
But millennial home ownership, I think, like across the nation, they say 1 out of every 3 millennials owns a home.
1.
Mm-hmm. 1 out of every 3.
33%.
So 33%.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So
we're saying that 33% or the other half is the reason why Toys R Us is the way it is?
Toys R Us says.
Toys R Us.
Not us.
No,
we're not saying that.
not you.
Toys R Us says that those millennials deciding not to have children ruined their customer base.
Yes.
And then it's like,
not the fact they couldn't just take that into account and make adjustments to, I don't know, make their business work around the problem.
That seems like
wait, that's thinking. My bad.
Look, I understand that too. You know, and they did not react to the market and properly change, which is what happens with a lot of large companies. Okay. But there is, like I said, there's a little bit of validity. If you're a toy store and your market is supposed to be kids and babies and everything like that, and all of a sudden that market has decreased,
you should make changes so your business doesn't, I don't know, close.
And blaming it on a generation for the fact that they don't have as many kids as previous generations is kind of sour grapes, guys.
Yeah.
It really is.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
And then it's their fault. I mean, I could have technically made it Toys R Us and more and opened up something else inside there for adults so they can enjoy it. But no, it's those millennials.
They needed to close down the big box warehouse style stores And then maybe if they were looking at re-expanding, they could have bought up KB when they shut down. Could have bought up those little mall outlets and
they could have opened up something there.
They could have bought up retail space from Radio Shack when Radio Shack folded up, and opened up a few small locations that were more about their ever aging customer base. It's like, now we have some big box stores that people can go to for the kids stuff and the big yard toys and stuff like that, and then we have a couple of other small outlets, Toys R Us outlets, that people can go to for the the video games
and
the
toys
consoles
and stuff.
Toys,
and I mean, they could also open up gaming centers for people like me who like tabletop gaming.
And that's the thing is they did not keep targeting the older audience. If they had made those adjustments, Toys R Us probably would have done better. But
certainly better than opening up a bunch of baby stores. I mean, babies don't even qualify for credit cards.
But the thing is
dogs qualify for credit cards, but babies do not.
But for the millennials, I mean, part of it is some of it's affordability too. I mean, I've even seen numbers as low as millennials owning 13% for home ownership because of affordability. And we're talking about affordability not just of homes, but utilities, and phones and everything else, internet. I mean, it's like
all the costs of these things have, in some cases, more than doubled or tripled from their previous counterparts, with no justification for the increase in cost to the consumer.
Right, with wages staying stagnant.
Yeah.
Or we're coming out of like a major recession where unemployment was relatively high, and it's still technically high. It looks better.
They can
in the
doctor
numbers.
numbers all they want. Yeah. I mean, we still have a bunch of people, and we still have a bunch more people than we have jobs for those people.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how that goes.
But
yeah,
millennials.
But millennials. It's all the millennials.
Yeah. Because we're ruining it. It's our turn to ruin everything now. Damn it. And why don't we just start? Yeah. Why don't we just start with that?
Let's start with that. First of all. It's not a competition, because if we were going to have a competition for how well we can ruin things, well,
remember, we blamed our generation before for ruining everything. We're going to have to clean up their messes. Now we're starting to get to the age now where the new generation is blaming us and they're going to have to clean up our messes.
Yeah, but in all fairness, the previous generation before us, the messes we had to clean up was lead in the water supply and toxic asbestos everywhere, and companies dumping chemicals into the fresh water supply, and no conservation of animals, forests, or anything like that. No concentration on the environment.
I think we've done some pretty good things with that. I guess the thing that this new generation has to worry about is us saying mean things on the internet now. That's what they have to clean up.
No, I'm pretty sure there's more than just that, buddy.
It's fast becoming illegal to say mean things on the internet.
Do some research. You probably find something.
I'm being a smartass. Okay, it's a joke.
Okay, I was going to start calling you Toys R Us in a moment.
So, speaking of the internet, let's move.
Darn millennials.
Yeah,
darn millennials.
Let's move into Facebook. Because I guess this is probably the millennials' fault too.
We can move into Facebook, but then let's move out of Facebook as quickly as possible.
So
en route.
Yeah.
Facebook is getting some outrage, James.
Yeah,
right?
They are.
Over what?
What is it?
Your identity.
Time? Yeah.
Your identity. Yeah. Right. Your identity being compromised and being sold. Oh no! Wait a minute.
No, it's not just your identity and everything. It's
not your identity. Your information.
Yeah, your personal information.
Your personal information.
Your browsing information. Anything and everything that Facebook collects on its users. They willingly gave away.
So the thing is this time it's because there's this whistleblower that says that Facebook was selling information to Cambridge Analytica. Okay, and this information was used in political campaigns. Oh no! So, what's the difference this year between any time in the last 8 years?
They had a whistleblower.
Yeah.
No, we knew that this was happening in the last 8 years. And in fact,
I know we knew. I'm just saying that's the only difference. They had a whistleblower.
In fact, in 2008, the media was praising the president for winning the election and using big data and using Facebook and social media and all this stuff.
We really do have to acknowledge that there is the line between utilizing social media for a thing and exploiting social media for a thing.
They've been exploiting it for the last 10 years.
Let me finish. We need to acknowledge the fact that there's a line. The line between utilizing social media and exploiting social media is very fuzzy. There is not a definitive cutoff point that says this is utilizing it correctly, this is exploiting it. Like, they don't have that kind of terminology in place. They don't have that kind of rules in place. And this is where I go back to the ever wonderful buzz phrase of, if a company offers you something online for free, they're not selling you a product. You are the product. The reason Facebook was able to succeed into its like IPO thing was like, didn't they have like a record-setting IPO when they decided to start trading publicly or something like that? Facebook.
Yeah.
So the reason they were able to do that was because it didn't cost you a thing. It doesn't cost anybody a thing to sign up for Facebook. And you can sign up under as many accounts, under as many names as you like, and have as much personal information or as little personal information on there as you like. But you're still eyes, and they still shove ads in your face. And so you are a product. You are cattle. You are a commodity. And the thing about it is, when you sign up for their site and you agree to the EULA, which is another whole line of bureaucratic bullshit that I'm not going to get off on a rant about, but part of that language covers them from being able to say they can do whatever they want with that information that you put up there. There was a big backlash earlier on in Facebook's lifetime where people were posting up like artwork and original like professional photography stuff and everything like that. And Facebook would just take it and be like, well, since you posted it on Facebook and hosted it there, it's ours now. We can use that for whatever we want.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, the thing is all social media has been like this. Even if you are using it for advertising, okay, whether it's big data or not, the thing is, it's like you go in and you check your interests and things, and you like things, and that starts to build.
I like this. That
starts to build a profile. Then, as a business, you come in and go, I want to target people that like these things to get my word out.
Yeah, right. Is there anyone who likes this? Ooh, he did. Here you go.
So, oh no, politicians did this.
50% off. There you go.
Yeah,
buy it.
You know,
now, the major thing here, and this is where I'm going to play kind of devil's advocate, even though this is pretty much a good solid line to take. The reason that Cambridge Analytica and Facebook are under fire now is because companies like Cambridge Analytica have kind of grown up and established these sort of practices and policies that revolve around willfully and blatantly exploiting social media and the information therein. And Facebook went along with it willingly for the payoff that provided.
By the way, all of you out there, you're only worth about $5.23 to Facebook, just so you know. That's how much it costs per person used, $5.23. And Facebook is actually capturing everything. Like if you go delete your Facebook account and download everything as a zip file, it has your call logs, it has times and durations and everything. Anything you've done with Facebook history-wise, if you start to look through it, is really freaking creepy. So
they maintain a lot of stuff, and it's one of those reasons why I put on my tinfoil hat and get really paranoid. I refuse to install Facebook's app on my phone. If it comes preloaded, I remove it. I deactivate it immediately.
I wonder how many people liked porn. Go on. Facebook likes.
That was so non sequitur. You broke my head. Like, how many people liked porn?
Like,
I know you mean like on a Facebook page, but you're like, how many people liked porn? And with no context whatsoever, I'm like, in the 1800s, at all time, how many people liked porn? Everybody likes porn. Like
on Facebook.
So this is my big problem with like Facebook and Google and all these services. If you're on these platforms, social media wise, you need to have some restraint with what you put out there and how much you actually use it, because guess what? It is going to be used, and it is nobody's fault but your own.
Well, unless you have something to personally promote, like an Etsy shop or a YouTube channel or podcast or whatever, unless you have something to willfully promote, or it is the only way that you can think of to keep in touch with certain aspects of family or friends or whatever like that, ask yourself, really, what is the relevance of Facebook? Why is it that they have not just established but encouraged people to share absolutely everything about their interests, even all the way down to every single thing that gets put on a plate in front of them?
Yeah.
All of their food, all of their purchases, every movie that they go see. Like everybody knows those kind of people. Everybody is some of those kind of people to some capacity on social media. They share everything about themselves because they want to feel like they're part of everybody else enjoying these things, and they want to feel validated. The thing about it is, Facebook doesn't make that available to you out of the goodness and kindness of wanting to promote togetherness and communication with people. They do that so that they can keep metrics on who sees what movies and who eats what food, and then they sell those metrics to companies. Like, and anybody who doesn't realize that.
And those companies hit you up on email going, hey, we got a special this week. I see you went to Longhorn. Or we have a special.
It's like, I go onto Amazon.com and I look up a couple of humidifiers for my room or something like that. And I may go and buy one or something, but it doesn't matter as far as Amazon's concerned. I'm looking to corner the market on and start a collection of every single humidifier available to man. So I will get if I don't block that information from getting to them, then they're going to just show me that ad nauseum every time I log into Amazon.
Yeah.
And or just Google in general. Google ads are popping up on everything. It's like, hey, you went to this website and you looked at something. You should go back and buy it.
I see you're looking at speakers. Here's a speaker. Here's a speaker. Here's a speaker.
There was like a way that you control coworkers. I heard about this. I don't know if it's still relevant these days, but if they use webmail or something like that, you do that thing where you change the text color to the same color as the background in an email client, and then you just add in some completely innocuous thing that would just like ping search terms nonstop. And so for this person, they just put in spoons, and so every bit of white space in an email, a professional business email, they would just like load it up with the word spoons. And apparently that made it so that every single advertisement on every website and search bar and Amazon and everything like that would show this person spoons like nonstop.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and think about that's the kind of technology that is working in the background around everything that people do online. As soon as commerce got a hold of it, I don't want to go off on the whole tinfoil hat tangent like I have
your
before.
hat's kind of
it's getting a little wobbly.
Well, the thing that outrages me is with this whole thing with Facebook is the fact that we've been hearing for years now, almost a whole decade, about how big data is a great thing, it's a big push, and it's been hyped and spun as being positive and everything else like this. And now all of a sudden this Cambridge Analytica thing comes out, and they're all of a sudden we're painting it all as a bad thing. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, maybe it was bad all along,
Yeah, the pendulum is kind of swinging back on this, where like they say, well, it's so useful because everybody's connected and it's the information travels so quickly. But then we have things like what's going on with Cambridge Analytica and Facebook, where it wasn't just that they utilized the information that they got willfully provided to them by Facebook for a change. So Facebook's culpability in this whole thing is that they sold the data sight unseen for a pittance. And then but what Cambridge Analytica did with that data, they took it and they cherry picked the kind of stuff that they wanted to know, and they utilized that and used it to influence the opinions of other people with something of a morally, ethically gray area-ish kind of. Yeah, this is what PR and promotional companies do. Is they take things.
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to say. It sounds like what every advertising firm tries to do.
Yeah, they take things and they paint it in the most beneficial light to support their claim. And so Cambridge Analytica is in trouble for doing their job too well.
Oh darn.
Yeah. like I said, we can jump onto Facebook, but really all we're going to be doing is parroting the same stuff that's out there right now. And anybody's like, I am shocked and outraged. It's like, this has been going on since the start of the internet, since the mid-90s easily. This has been going on.
All right.
And everybody knew it.
If y'all are outraged over Facebook, you should, and how well they were
Don't sign
doing.
up for MySpace.
Yeah.
That's still around?
Yes, it actually is.
You should be outraged at Apple too, but that's a different rant.
Oh God, yeah.
All right, so taking off your tin hat here. I heard that you played, are looking to play Gloomhaven.
I mean, I've had some good recommendations and things like that. We talked about it on the show, and I ended up sharing that around to some friends, and they say that they've picked up copies and had a good time
I know.
playing
I talked about it last time.
Yeah.
What's Gloomhaven?
Gloomhaven is that board game we talked about 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. It kickstarted at $140 a copy.
$99.
It was $99 a copy. It got up as high as like $200 or $240 in certain places online, but you can find it for about $140. It is a board game. It is a
board game with
dungeon
cards,
crawler board game.
Dungeon diver.
Yeah. But we've already covered that. Go back 3 weeks and give
Yeah.
us some views on that show if you want to go find it out. Why do you bring it up?
Because I've been doing a lot of board games lately. A lot.
But you've already brought it up.
What was the one you bought recently?
I bought War Machine,
Yeah.
which reminds me of Warhammer.
Yeah.
It's that type of game with miniatures and you get to battle.
But it's
each other.
cheaper.
It's vastly cheaper.
Yeah, Warhammer has a huge entry fee.
I like Warhammer. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But this one is fun too. This one has a different types of rules set up. You activate your units, and then you assign them their points that they get, and then you can attack the other person.
Mm-hmm.
Turn phases, and the objective is to kill the caster in the back on each one. Each one of you have a caster.
Cool.
And you have like your
So you have whole
defenders.
armies, and you bring out those armies, and you cast spells at each other, and you've got little miniatures to represent everything.
Exactly. And you can either start at 0, you can start at 10 points, 25 points, and it's the type of game you want to play.
And how much does that set you back?
$40.
$40
for a starter.
How long does a usual session last?
No more than 30 to 45 minutes.
Is it just 2 players?
2 to more.
2 players or more?
But depending on the type, you can do just a duel, which is 2 players, or you could do there's different types of battle scenarios.
Oh, nice.
I've been doing a lot of duels, and that's only like 45 minutes to an hour.
When did you start playing Yu-Gi-Oh?
Ha!
No, I've seen a game.
I didn't say duel. I just said duel.
I've seen people play Yu-Gi-Oh, the card game, before, and it really is no, you don't the game.
No, you don't. The game.
Yeah, it's because somebody
I play this. No, you don't.
at the very first turn of the game, somebody says, "I'm going to do this," and then every subsequent turn after that is, "No, you don't." Well, actually, no, you don't.
I play my trap card.
No, you don't.
I play my
no,
trap
you
card.
Don't. Yeah,
my trap card.
It's like everybody is playing Magic the Gathering, but everybody plays blue. Mm-hmm. Like that's what Yu-Gi-Oh is.
Yeah.
That's why there's a blue eyes white dragon thing.
You got it right.
Hey.
Yeah.
But yeah, the game's fun, dude.
Yeah. War Machine.
Yeah. Right now I'm going to start a tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Probably next month. So we'll start doing the tournaments for those. I'm looking at expanding my army, because like
I've got to go down and like game night, unfortunately, is like inconvenient for me, but I've got to go over to Etten and see what they've got. Really,
I got
5 on it.
I got a hipster thing.
Oh no!
What's your hipster thing?
CDs and vinyls are outselling digital downloads for the first time since 2011. See, this is the thing. You take away the toys, and all of a sudden people want them again.
So you telling me non sequitur? Look what he just did.
Well, I mean, he got bored because we were talking about something that didn't interest
That
him.
you talked about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, we did. Well, we talked about Gloomhaven 3 weeks ago.
Yeah,
War Machine.
War
is
Machine
the
is
new,
new.
new board game.
Yeah, sir.
Well, then fine. Did you have anything else you wanted to share about War Machine or?
Nah, not really. So you could paint the minis. You could do a lot of fun. It's a fun game.
Put your own spin on it.
Yeah,
that
I'm
sounds
gonna buy
awesome.
a big army, and I'm gonna enter a tournament. And
So
I'll let you know how it is.
Yeah, I'll look into it. Definitely. I will jump onto my thing. The one thing I wanted to come into is apparently for the first time in over a decade, the United Kingdom has banned a video game from sales. Before that, the last game that they banned was Manhunt 2. What do you think they banned this time?
A pug doing the Nazi salute.
PUBG.
Well, they got
You
to that.
shut
No,
up.
They didn't ban PUBG. Can knock over his phone or anything. No, they banned a JRPG. Specifically the game Omega Labyrinth Z.
Why?
It has been refused classification in the United Kingdom and will not receive a physical release. Now, they're not banning digital sales. You can still pick it up as part of like digital distribution in there, but physical sales of this game have been banned, and that is and what they are citing is that it is in violation of some moral codes that they have as far as retail releases go. It is a JRPG involving high school girls. And it is a dungeon crawler. You do play the little chibi versions and run around dungeons most of the time, but because it involves girls of freshman year of high school and up, and puts them into compromising. There are images of them in compromising positions and less than adequate amounts of clothing,
Plus boob growth.
So like the game that I play a lot, the
Plus
JRPG,
sexual
the one where they
innuendos.
turn into goddesses with giant boobs.
Hyperdimension Neptunia,
Yeah.
or Hyperdimension whatever.
Now, keep in mind, anybody that's not, indoctrinated with any sort of anime or any sort of like weeb culture or something, a Japanese high school is 3 years. And so you're, what, 16, 17, 18.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But still, 16-year-old girls in heavily sexualized positions.
So
and situations.
They banned the sale of physical copies, but not digital.
Yeah, they refused them classification, which means that retailers would be reluctant to actually stock those games.
Yep.
It's the same as giving a movie in America an NC-17 rating. Because that means theaters won't show it, which means it won't get as much distribution as it could if it got an R rating or less.
Okay.
So this game was refused classification. It's the first time that the United Kingdom has done this in over a decade. And I thought that was something just worth marking the moment. Is that Japan finally came out with a game. Apparently, the localization company was trying to push this out, and then as soon as the UK kind of heard, wait, there's 16-year-old girls in like their underwear.
No.
But Gun Gal VR is okay.
That's a digital distribution game. It's weird. They don't really come
Gun
down.
Gal
Yeah, that
VR.
kind of defeats the purpose. Because like I'm abandoning physical copies. Okay, let's go buy a digital copy, and it'll be cheaper. Okay, cool.
If I want a physical copy because it's not porn to me unless I can get caught hiding it somewhere. Like
That kind of defeats the purpose of the banning right there.
Speaking of hiding your porn, apparently the other thing you can find with your porn now is going to be guns.
what?
You didn't hear about this?
No,
So
I did not hear
YouTube
about
is
this.
cracking down on videos with guns in them, or like how to shoot, or like how to clean your gun, or anything like this. Anything gun related. They're cracking down. They're shutting down channels within everything else. You know where all those gun stores or gun channels are going? Pornhub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guessed.
So Facebook's new policy, vague and one-sided firearm policy, makes it abundantly clear that YouTube cannot be counted upon for the safe harbor for a wide variety of views and subject matters. And basically, InRange TV and a few others have already had their channels shut down because they were talking about like firearms and accessories and everything else, you know, which is a market like everything else. And so, because they're banning anything to deal with firearms, basically, and shutting down the channels, those gun manufacturers or other channels that talk about like gun shooting or gun training, or you know, other things with guns such as sights or like how to install a sight or anything like that, are having to go over to Pornhub.
And Pornhub's happy to host them?
Yes,
Well then.
so far. And
That
actually,
looks bad for YouTube.
and the funny thing is like Pornhub got asked, is like, look guys, you need to really kind of make a competitor to YouTube. And they said after the last fiascos, they go, we are seriously considering it.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. YouTube is kind of spending all this time going, no, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. It angers or it frightens the wily, wild advertiser away from giving us their money. Like, YouTube is just shooting themselves in the foot, and every company out there like Pornhub and the like is fine to just let them shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, really, who's going to argue about Pornhub hosting immoral content? It's like, nada. It's called Pornhub. Like,
Well, I mean, there's more to it than just that. That's been going on with like YouTube.
oh boy, yeah. Haven't we been covering that for like the last year and a half? How YouTube has just been taking liberty after liberty and misstep after misstep.
Well, oh yeah, and there's been a lot more recently. But besides the gun thing with YouTube, one of the things I had the wonderful time to deal with here in the last month is apparently they have this very draconic privacy violation thing. Mm-hmm. I mean, you actually can get away with more on TV than what you can on YouTube because of their privacy violation things. So we had somebody tried to go after us and get a couple of videos taken down underneath the privacy violation. This is different than DMCA claims. DMCA claims you can like counter and everything else like this.
Yeah, DMCA is about copyright.
Yeah. So the privacy violation, basically, it gets reported, and then YouTube says, hi, you better blur this, cut this out of the video, or take down the video completely within 48 hours. If you don't, we are going to manually review it ourselves and make a determination. And you look at their privacy violation stuff, you have no way to defend yourself. You can never... So if you get false privacy violation, you better pray that somebody at YouTube is looking at it properly, or else your video is going to get either blurred in that area or it's going to get taken down. Okay. And the thing with this is this is what blew my mind. So TV stations that are showing, things, and they get the public and whatnot, and they get like a gag reel or something like that, and they get consent forms from people to be shown on TV. Even if you have a consent form on YouTube, you can still get taken down for privacy violation. They don't care. So
yeah, you could have a signed consent form from somebody, and then once that person says, "No, I'm going to issue a privacy violation because I don't feel comfortable with my likeness being used in this channel, in the show," they can do that. And here's the crazy, like, curveball roundabout thing: YouTube is under no obligation at all to be fair or impartial about any of this. To pleasing the advertisers, to the kind of content that their creators are allowed to upload, to privacy violations and DMCA claims. YouTube has absolutely no obligation to go to bat for either side, really. And so they're in it to be self-serving for themselves. It's whatever is going to end up making the least amount of headache for them and costing the least amount of man hours for them to arbitrate. So yeah, they're going to, if they can just fill a small bank of cubicles with people who are just going to go through and just automatically click yes to every single privacy claim that gets put up there, that's what they're going to do, because it's a lot cheaper than training an actual workforce in privacy law.
Yeah. So
is it right or wrong? Really, we can't say. It's one of those things that this is so new that, in my view, to say, well, that's unfair. Well, yeah, but there's nothing that says that they have to be fair. And it's like, well, that's unethical. There's nothing that says that they have to be ethical either. I mean, you are a content creator. As far as YouTube is concerned, a content creator like us is unpaid labor.
Yeah.
We generate all of this content, and they just happen to be the ones who are hosting it, and they make negotiations with the advertisers. And if the advertisers take issue, then they're going to cut out. They would cut off their own arm and throw it away before they would want to lose an advertiser.
Yeah, and there are some other interesting things like with this too, this whole fallout with some of the changes. I mean, obviously we're still using the platform because nothing else has come along yet. That's just as good.
Well, we might be on Pornhub soon.
Yeah, apparently. But there's one thing I actually want to try now.
Catch us right next to the big titty.
I want to take my the video that I've been on there of what is it called? Megatron, me transforming the Megatron gun. I actually want to go back, probably edit the video, put it up, and see if I get hit by the gun violation stuff.
You will.
You will.
There's no if.
But then we can just come on and be like, "Yep, we told you." And do our stick waving.
Well, here's the interesting. So Philip DeFranco had a video recently, and he decided to put it out there unmonetized because it's a subject he does this every once in a while when he wants, to
Phil DeFranco's one of the good people. If he wants to make a statement on something and he knows it's going to be contentious, he doesn't monetize it because he doesn't want there to be any.
Yeah, he doesn't want people to feel that he is doing it for the monies.
Yeah,
he
makes plenty of monies off of T-shirt sales and stuff like that anyway.
Yeah. So what was interesting is since a lot of these changes that they've done with like the monetization, the ad revenue stuff that's really started to kick in here recently. So he's put out a video unmonetized, and he's been getting hit with this already with videos that are not suitable for all advertisers, even after being contested in manual review. So a lot of YouTubers are seeing their videos, unless they are perfect sunshine and rainbows, not getting monetized fully. So it's basically YouTube Red's subscriptions and not necessarily advertising. But this video that's put out with no advertising on it, his standard views went from drop 50%. That is a strong indication of how YouTube is working. And he feels there's going to be some more fallout with him hitting the recommended feed for things after this. Because if you don't have a sunshine and rainbows, just super polished, super squeaky clean video, it doesn't get ad revenue, and YouTube doesn't want it up there. But that's not why people went to YouTube.
Well, I mean, if you show nothing but sunshine and rainbows, and it keeps people docile enough that they won't even notice they're being advertised to. Because that's all that really all.
Take that tin hat off now.
I can't.
Take it off now.
No, it's glued on. Like,
Take
seriously.
it off.
No, I swear it's glued on. Like, I can't.
I saw that. You said,
Like, I had it on just like because it keeps my hair nice while I sleep, and then I rolled over into some glue, and now it's just permanently glued on my head. I always have the tinfoil hat on. Like, but really, I mean, look at it. Like, all of the advertisements that go on before the videos and everything like that, they're all sunshine and rainbows and completely safe, committee designed, neutered bullshit. And that's what they want their videos to be, is just a bunch of committee designed, neutered bullshit just to keep people like slack-jawed and watching. Yeah. That's exactly what they want.
Yeah, and it's getting kind of, but it's getting out of hand. It's going to get to the point where just enough creators are just going to say, screw it, you know?
Maybe.
Because if they're not making money, then they will say screw it.
Keep in mind, VidMe was a bunch of creators saying screw it, and we all saw how well that went.
Right?
Well, there's a lot
I don't think I like the idea of us going to Facebook videos. So we're gonna have to wait until some other host decides to come along and really comes to bat for the creator.
We can always go to Gab.
Do we have to?
And we're done.
Yeah. So I do have one last little thing I want to shove out there, and then that'll be my lot for the week. But I did think this was going to be mentioned because it was one of those logos that I saw on almost every single kind of social media post or website or whatever back before social media was even a term that had been coined. So late 90s, early 2000s. This is another thing that's starting to die out. RSS readers and feeds,
yes,
are starting to go the way of the dodo. And one of the ones that is going to shutter or has shuttered relatively recently is Digg, DIGG. That was a logo that I remember seeing on a lot of different things every now and then. It's like it was like Pinterest before the Pinterest. It was just one of those things where it's like, share this to my RSS feed, and people could kind of like check interests and stuff like that. It was a novel concept, and Digg as an RSS reader was one of the more useful things out there. There are other sites now that accomplish the same thing, and I think it's just really a saturated market share for an architecture that isn't necessarily very relevant on the front end kind of thing. Like, back end RSS is still invaluable, but that's something that companies use. That's not something that people use very much, and you have to get yourself an education on how to use that kind of stuff these days.
Digg
RSS reader.
I don't know anybody uses RSS readers anymore.
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yes.
I don't know you.
I don't know you.
It's the hat, right? Like it's the tinfoil hat just makes it so people don't know me.
I guess.
Yeah.
Because the thing is like RSS feeds are not necessarily used nowadays. The closest thing to the way it's kind of evolved is it's almost integrated into your social media platforms, because they try to push things that they think you want to see. Like Facebook has this news feed, Twitter has this feeds of hashtag trends.
The YouTube algorithm is basically an RSS architecture.
Yeah. Your smartphone now, when you just open up to a blank browser page, starts to push out to you stories you might want to see.
Unless you turn that shit off because you're wearing a tinfoil hat.
He's got stickers on his hat.
Yeah, I've got stickers on it too. Yeah,
he's got the rainbow sticker. I have Rainbow Bright sticker. And he's even got Pinkie Pie sticker.
I would love a Rainbow Bright or a Lisa Frank sticker set. Like, really.
I think you're going to end up going back to a landline phone.
Maybe.
And
I've considered it.
Yeah. That way you can't be pushed with all this stuff all the time.
It'll be like that commercial where it showed the kid pushing buttons and it's an encyclopedia is being ordered and they're all, somebody bought something. So it'll be you getting a landline. They'll be all, oh my God, somebody got
I could just imagine like the spinning like and klaxons went off when I actually registered and paid for a license for my copy of Merc. MIRC, Merc.
Yeah.
Or it's like somebody actually registered WinZip. It's like one of those things. It's like,
oh my God, someone read.
I didn't, but
if you register WinZip nowadays, you are silly, because WinZip is built basically into
straight
Windows.
into Windows. Yeah. So, but it was interesting thing to see this name kind of pop up and be like, well, Digg is going away. And it's like they were still around to begin with.
Right, they're still here.
That was interesting.
Holy shit.
But even us as podcasters, like, we utilize RSS feeds because that's how the places that ostensibly share out our podcast,
like the one below here,
get the information and everything like that.
Giving you work to do.
Don't give me work to do. This is the thing is you give me extra work to do. You've done that for the last couple of weeks. If you actually paid attention, you'd notice I didn't do any of that extra
I
work.
noticed.
I didn't even
Jerk.
put any of the links in that I said I
Why?
would put into this.
You need to do work.
Because nobody
Stop banging on the table.
nobody listens to the show. It's true. We have like 10 listeners. Hi, thank you for listening.
Thank you.
But
Why don't you share it out so that way we can have 11 listeners, please?
Was that digging at me or digging at our listeners? I don't mind you digging at me, but they like pay for this shit. So
No, they don't. No, they don't.
other than that, yeah, I'm tapped, guys.
I'm tapped out, dude.
Yeah.
I think we're done.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So this has been the GACC podcast for this week. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on iTunes. And you can find us on the Google Music Store in the podcast area. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share. You know, you can always message us. Let us know what you think. And we will see you next time.
Bye.
Take care, folks.
So there's something called the YouTube haiku
Oh, yeah.
and YouTube poetry.
I know about the haiku one. I've heard about it.
Yeah. So you understand the premise behind it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do you know about this, Faust?
The YouTube haiku?
Haiku and YouTube poetry?
No.
Okay. YouTube haiku is any video that's under 14 seconds.
Okay.
Okay. YouTube poetry is any video that's underneath 30 seconds.
Okay.
Apparently, this is a big thing. So it's where a lot of memes and other stuff start, but it's also a good way to advertise, apparently.
You want to buy my underwear? My underwear's awesome. And then put it down.
14 seconds?
14 seconds.
It has to be 14 seconds or less to be a haiku. 15 to 30 is poetry.
Anything longer than that, then you're just playing with it.
That's not how that goes.